XRP millionaire, XRP billionaire, or even XRP trillionaire. Thinking that way is easy. Achieving that is difficult. Can we see what the smart money is working on? If we do, then the chances are that we are going to end up with huge capital gains. And when I say that, remember, this is what market actually does for smart investors. If you don't believe me, listen to this.
It's huge. I think what will inevitably happen in any of these digital currencies which are successful is you'll have people sitting on massive capital gains. That's certainly true in Bitcoin, and if there is a next version of Bitcoin that becomes extremely successful, the same will be true. All of a sudden, charities can accept these, whatever virtual currency it may be at the moment, Bitcoin, and those contributing won't have to pay capital gains as an appreciated asset. So I think there's actually an enormous opportunity around this.
If you are receiving value out of the content, do hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell notification icon to get updated about the future videos. This is what we actually have to understand. But, I'll say this, but they will actually try to shake out many as much as possible using the fear and all other different tactics which made them the money during all these years. Only real investors will be able to see a sale if a crash in price happens. Now, why I say that? If they're actually trying to push down the stock markets, people will have fear in mind. That is common, right? And if assets are going down, and safe haven assets like gold may also start to crash a bit and then gain momentum to the upside. So what you have to actually look at is the possibility of a gain from that point. So if we can buy at that point, personally, I would be looking at opportunities rather than stepping back. Now, as we just listened, we can actually get many ideas from this, right? He was actually talking about capital gains and about something better than Bitcoin. Now, we all already know that something better than Bitcoin, it's not something better than Bitcoin, it's XRP, right? Now, if you have a doubt about that, I'll show you why I say that. Now, this is a video from the World Economic Forum, and watch this. This is just the ending part of that. You'll get the idea what I'm trying to direct you towards.
Portion of trust services from banking to notaries will face challenges on price, volume, and in some cases, their very survival. Public authorities could find it more and more difficult to enforce traditional financial regulations due to the new possibilities offered by the Bitcoin network to bypass traditional financial intermediaries. Unimagined new networks will evolve to meet society's needs more cheaply and potentially more securely. Will governments, financial and legal institutions embrace blockchain? What will happen to the ones who don't?
So what you just saw is the perspective of World Economic Forum, in which they are directly talking about Bitcoin network going under the table from the regulations, right? So what they were pointing towards, something better than that, which is cheap, fast and reliable based on regulation, abiding by all the regulations in place, or at least what they will introduce. So as we can see, they are introducing something, and it is happening. Now, this is a bit old article, say 4 weeks ago. That's not too old, but still a bit old. Now, if you read through that, you can actually get a perspective in that. Say, RippleNet partner Airwallex provides a foreign exchange solution for businesses that need to move money across borders. The company has developed a global accounts offering. Company has developed a global accounts offering, because we already came through this, right? Move money across borders, and now global accounts offering, which allows small and medium-sized businesses to collect funds from international customers in the local currencies. Say, for example, you're using Amazon. Now you have Amazon India, Amazon South Korea, and different, right? So what if they have a global account and they can collect their payment all in dollars? You can just pay it from South Korea, India, wherever you are in the world, and they can collect it directly in one account. that will be easy for them, right? So when they're actually looking at that, when you read below, you can get this. The blockchain firms want to develop an end-to-end international payment platform for businesses. It offers low-cost payments and collections in all the different currencies, fiats are possible. Now, in that, what you have to keep in mind is this is cross-border, and they are collecting it in their own local currencies. That means wherever you're paying from will be from a different currency, and you will be collecting that in your local currency, whatever it is. So in that aspect, there is a switch or bridge between those currency required. So the global shift towards this digital payments is inevitable because that is happening. Now this from Real XRP Boy is actually showing a couple of interesting things from the Federal Reserve itself. Say for example, if you read the highlighted part here, what you can see is they are pointing towards, for me it's XRP, there is nothing changed, because when you read the last area of this, you can actually see something similar to what the World Economic Forum just highlighted at the end, like there are other networks which are kind of going under the table from the regulations. So a more relevant question may be whether some intermediate solutions may be able to offer the safety and benefits of a real-time digital payments based on sovereign currencies, without necessitating radical transformations of the financial system. So the reason I played this one before is that we actually get an idea what the regulators are actually looking at. Now when we read this, after reading the news here based on the currency exchange and the partnerships which are actually going on, because the partnerships are happening after the approval from governments or regulations, whatever is the concerned authority there. So they already have an idea of what they are pointing towards, what the framework is going to be in next 5 years, next 10 years. So it's actually a real-time digital payments using currencies itself without changing the existing financial system. So you are just taking, say previously you used to do the same using say Swift, which had 3 to 4 days or something even worse, and the conversion charges, fees, all the associated costs are too much. So now you can do that in real time, like it happens in 3 seconds, right? So with that in place, the cost associated with is so cheap. The World Economic Forum also highlighted that fast, cheap, and it has to be there. But when you walk through the entire video, you actually get, they say like it's going to happen in next 10 years, but whatever they have talked through that video is kind of happening as of now. Now I'll actually play another video from the same meeting there, and in that you actually get the perspective of Chris Larsen.
And one other thing to add is, again, as the math-based currency movement, as a payment system, you don't really have to even think about these new currencies. So the new currencies, Ripple, Bitcoin, are very interesting, but it's kind of a whole separate thing from the payment movement that this represents. So you can use these systems with dollars, euro, renminbi, whatever you want, Zynga dollars, Amazon coins. They're moving in a direction where they're flexible enough to be able to be used with your preferred currency, which should really increase adoption, right? So a merchant doesn't have to think about the currency risk of Bitcoin or Ripple. They can just simply use them as payment rails in whatever currency they want to accept. That's a really
Now that is really interesting, right? Because that kind of ties up with everything we just read through the government and authorities' statements. Say, for example, this one and the World Economic Forum itself, right? So it kind of ties into it, and it is actually in line with what they are going through. So that means Ripple, the company, and the executives are on the same page with this thing. Now, this is from World Bank, and they are actually showing those who rely on remittance are having the hard time as of now. But if they can use a faster financial digital payment system with low cost, which is being prioritized now, it would be easy for them. Now, when they are talking about this, they are also talking about one fiat to another. In this case, the images representing the Western Union, and as we know, they are also working on XRP, but the previous statement from the chief of the company is not that positive. But keep in mind that they also have this corresponding banking network or a nostro vostro or any type of capital which is dormant waiting for the payments to be instructed from one country to another. And at the same time, when we look at Japan, this is happening there. The settlement thing. Now, this is the basic thing. I think majority of you know the payment is like payment message, and then settlement. So for example, you're going into a store, you're buying with your Visa credit card. Then you're not a thief, right? They're giving you the item, you're going back. But the actual payment is not actually happening. The message of payment is going through, but the settlement is happening after that. So in Japan, now this is going to happen. The Ripple settlement are actually coming to ATMs. Say if you are going to a shop with this technology going forward, if they have the same in their counters, then the settlement and the messages will be instant. So they are actually moving towards that, and we already heard directly from SBI chief Yoshitaka Kitao that he is actually looking to push the adoption of XRP as much as possible, because he believes XRP is going to be the first cryptocurrency. Now, going to check that in the coin market cap, you will see that the market cap of Bitcoin is so high as of now, and if you actually want to reach that, how far you should go. Wow. Now, these are only based on the payments aspect, right? Only based on the payments aspect. Now, there are other information which actually kind of points us towards it's not only going to be happening in payments aspect, it will also be in trading aspect. Now, this is from Lord Lionel, and even though the highlighted part here is interesting, I'm pointing not directly towards that. I'm pointing towards the CFD services. That is trading, contract for differences. You will be trading any different types of assets. And if you're doing that and settling each trade, wow. Now, when we play this video, you get a bit more information, but the perspective is kind of a bit, generalized. You get to know what they're actually looking at in total for blockchain. But after playing the video, I'll come to my conclusion there.
So here's a little chart. So you can see all public blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum have a token. And so there's nothing in that bottom category because there are no public chains that do not have a token. There are most of the mostly used permission blockchains don't have a native token. So Hyperledger, Quorum, Corda, some others, you can certainly build tokens on top of them, but they don't have a native token. And then there have been a couple of cryptocurrencies that are particularly built for permission change, like Stellar and Ripple, and we have a partnership with with Stellar. And so those are specifically for payments on blockchains, on permission blockchains. So end it with a visual. The visual basically is that this is what it looks like to operate in business without blockchain, meaning you have lots of different business participants. They're all transacting, so all of these nice little lines are transactions and assets being transferred, and everyone is keeping a different book of records. So all of these different colored records are different books. There might be reconciliations. People might have different accounting practices.
Now, you just saw that they are pointing towards different types of networks, which many has their own tokens like this is permissionless, and in another side which is permissioned blockchain, which is Stellar, Ripple and all, they have their own asset, as we know, whereas the blockchain for businesses like Coda and Hyperledger, which we often hear on or read through in different documents from the government, connecting to Ripple mostly, and yes, sometimes Stellar too, XLM too. But now when you actually watch this video at the end, you actually saw that different types of assets, even including the real estate, and they mentioned reconciliation. That means the banking nostro vostro and all other things in there. Now, coming back to this video, if we actually go back and play some of the area in this, you also get the similar aspect. Say they are actually looking at a database which connects money, goods, property, work, a lot of other things. So that's not only payments. Yeah, they talk about transaction being settled, but they also talk about other assets moving into this ledger, meaning currently other assets are on different ledgers, but it can actually come into one ledger, and that is where as we talk always, ILP, the interledger protocol, comes into play. So for example, right now the advantage for us, meaning the Ripple holders, is that the company is positioning Ripple in such a way that if you want to use Ripple, it's okay. If you want to partner with us and work with us, it's okay. Even if you don't, it's okay. Meaning either they are going to use XRP as a partner of them, or anyways they are going to send their value from them to another through ILP, which actually uses XRP. So it doesn't actually matter whether they are partners of Ripple as of now or they are going to partner in future. Anyway, they are going to change the value through ILP. So in that perspective, I'm thinking, okay, so in that aspect, it doesn't actually matter whether we have 600 partners, 1,000 partners or 10,000 partners. Everyone moving value will be moving it through ILP if central banks are being connected all across the board. And as we know, 40 to 50 major central banks are already working with the company. So there is no such question. Coming back to our initial point, if we are smart money, it's really hard to say we are smart money because we are retail traders, mostly having say 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 or 50,000. That's all for our investment, right? But these guys will be investing in millions, which are known as, the smart money. So in order to tackle their tactics of shaking out the system, we should actually understand all different perspectives. And after getting all of this information, we should be able to process them in a way that even if they are going to shake the system out, we don't actually care. We will be here ready to buy. If they are pushing the price a bit down, you should be happy. At least I'm happy, because as you guys know, my average is somewhere around 0.167 now. And if the price is going up and I'm intending to buy more, then my average is going to go up. So if I get a chance to buy somewhere around 0.17 or below that, I'm actually happy. But looking at the charts, we actually crossed a year-long resistance lines here, and we kind of bounced off from that level. So as of now, for me, the chart is kind of looking, now this is a daily chart and looking on a long-term perspective. In that one, the chances are that we may actually go through 0.21, then burst into 0.22, 0.23 and reach 0.36 area. But the time frame for that is kind of unpredictable as of now. If you are receiving value out of the content, do hit the like button, subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get updated about the future videos.